Hey everybody, I'm Keith Butler.
And I'm Jeff Lowe. I want you to check out The Hook on Apple, Google, or Spotify podcasts.
And if you have any questions or comments, you can hit us up at our emails. Mine is KEBU10, that's the number 10, at yahoo.com.
And mine is jlow1215 at gmail.com.
Hey, you've been thinking about doing a podcast, but don't have the equipment or nowhere to go?
Call YMP, your mobile podcast. We will come to you.
You can do your podcast without worry of equipment or travel.
For more information, contact 313-241-0017. That's 313-241-0017.
YMP.
Your mobile podcast.
I grew up in Detroit. She's my home. Some people left when things got tough, but not me. I knew she'd make it back. Like Detroit, I'm strong, resilient, hardworking, and loyal. Detroit has been true to me. I will be true to Detroit.
To get your True Detroiter gear, go to true-detroiter.creator-spring.com. Get yours today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Hook. My name is Jeff Lowe, and I'm with my main man, my co-host, Mr.
Keith Butler.
All right.
What's happening? We're coming to you from the Six-Hole Studio as usual in Detroit, Michigan. It's a nice day out there. There's a couple of golfers out there on the course, Jeff.
Swinging them, yes.
It's starting to happen.
Yeah.
Starting to happen.
They're hitting the yellow sticks.
But we got a guy, like I like to call him, our sports analyst.
Yes.
My frat brother, our friend from way back in the day, Leland Stein. What's happening, Leland?
Leland Stein
what's happening,
from Houston, Texas. Yes.
What's happening, Fi? What's happening?
Man, I'm sitting up here under a blanket, looking at notes.
Under a blanket?
I'm sitting under a blanket. They have a long couch here where my feet can be put up in the air.
Yeah.
So, so I'm sitting like the couch has one of them things like a lazy boy thing, sitting up.
Okay.
It's kind of cool.
Stein, where are you? Down at the Final Four, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The final, Final Four.
Hanging out at the Final Four, man. How's it going down there?
It was electric in the stadium. I got to admit it, man. Good God. People thought that because, the so-called blue bloods were in the tournament. Even I questioned it. I'm like, we got Florida Atlantic, Miami, these teams, San Diego State. UConn was the only somewhat blue blood that ascended, to the Final Four.
Right.
And, people were like, wow, they don't have no fan base. Florida Atlantic ain't been in school since 1965 or something.
Right.
How they ain't got enough alumni to travel like that yet. They ain't even big enough. You look at Michigan State and UCLA, founded in 1910s or whatever the hell that shit is, and they they have their fan base. See, the one thing about the NCAA Final Four, Butler and Jeff, it's unique. You could come to the Final Four and you might see a 10-month-old completely gabbed in Michigan State outfield.
Yeah,
and you see a 90-year-old in Michigan State outfield. That's how the college game is versus the Super Bowl, which is corporate America at its finest and its decadence. And it's just, they come out and they use corporate money and spend it at the Super Bowl as an excuse to spend money. And it's a more professional environment.
Yeah.
And of course, the NBA All-Star Games crowd is different. It's more of a younger, kind of hip-hop-ish, cool crowd, so to speak. But the Final Four is uniquely more family than any other of the 3, 4, including hockey, major sports.
Right.
Where at an event this big, you'll see babies, a 10-month-old baby with a UCLA outfit on. You'll see the youngsters, of course, the students, with all the University of Michigan gear, Michigan State gear, you know. And then you'll see the 80 and 70-year-olds like me walking around without gear on.
80 and 70. You're
Well, no,
80?
I ain't 80. I'm close to 70. I'm knocking on the door, man. I'm claiming. I'm claiming. I don't care what you say. Shit.
Hey,
I'm gonna make it.
Now you mentioned about these teams that are now participating in the Final Four,
Right.
and the big time schools are not there. Do you think this is the reason for this is because of the portal and the NIL and all that kind of stuff that's going on in
Everything
college
you
sports?
said is right.
Okay.
No doubt about it.
And look, I'll tell you the truth. I mean, I know I haven't been keeping up with it, but I've heard a lot of the complaints and the disappointment because, like you just said, Stein, you know, none of the blue bloods are there. But
Right.
personally, I'm glad, especially Duke, because I can't stand Duke. I hate Duke.
They give you a reason to hate their ass, though.
But you know, it's a nice change. So this is kind of almost like a Cinderella type
Yeah,
NCAA.
it is. That's right. You're
It
right.
is. No, I thought about
Except
it.
for
You're right.
Connecticut, you know, they've been there a few times. But
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Well, Connecticut to me is always it's a small private college.
Right.
It's one of the smallest ones that have keep winning like they won in recent years.
But aren't they consider
And,
blue blood though, right?
Well, they can. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess you could say that. You might as well call them that because they don't won about 3 titles.
Right.
Right.
They're in the power structure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But you know what, Stein?
Mm-hmm.
UConn, you know, with the Hurley connection and everything.
Oh, the Hurley connection,
Oh.
something else.
Yeah. And those guys, I mean, they keep it going, don't they? Man.
They keep it going, man. He's got a really good team. He's got a kid, man. That 6'9" boy they got on that team.
Yeah. Sanugo. Is that
Sanugo.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Don't say that name if you can't pronounce.
No kidding. I so messed it up. Well, see, I said it without
I'm talking
looking
about
at it. Oh,
I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about Low. Because I'm not going to try it.
Oh man.
He's from Mali. 6'9", 240, junior.
Oh.
He's a leading scorer, averaging almost 18 points a game in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a beast now.
Oh man,
they got something to work with.
Oh man, he's defensively though. He was doing a great job defensively.
He's good defensively.
Yeah.
Connecticut's got a really good team, but to me, San Diego State now is the team I would like to win.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say they're going to win, but I was researching, trying to put together my ideas and my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know, because I'm like, brother, I kind of tuned out when the Spartans lost, because I thought they was going to have a good year. And Purdue lost, I really just tuned out. I didn't care who was playing and what was going on.
Yeah, the Spartan game was disappointing to me, man.
Yeah, man.
I mean, hey,
Also, when that K-State got there, because I kind of like that little girl reminded me of me, you know?
What?
he talking about Noel.
Yeah.
No, listen, I heard about that boy. I hadn't seen him the whole season until they were playing Michigan State.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, hey, okay. But that's just me, you know, looking at him from one game. I don't have a whole lot to evaluate from.
Right.
But when I was watching that particular game, Michigan had its way going to the hole. I mean, every time they went to the hole, they could not be stopped. They get down 2 points, they start shooting 3-pointers. And then K-State start coming around and start going to the hole. I'm like, where's the damn defense?
Well, no. Sometimes it's better offense.
Yeah.
Because Spartans didn't play that bad of defense, man. K-State just made some miraculous plays.
Yeah.
And that guard is just tricky, man. He's good. And he's looking to pass. And, you know, hey, sometimes it just happens like that, you know.
Is K-State
that kid's a really good player. No, they got beat.
Okay, well, he wasn't that good, man.
Well, he was. And that game, they lost
No,
for
I'm
like
just
1
joking.
point.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
That was a very good point.
And he had about 15 assists.
Yeah.
He set some kind of tournament records with all the assists he was dishing out.
Sure did.
Yeah, we ain't seen no guy do this. The things he was doing in a long time. A little guy actually control the game like he did.
Yeah.
So,
But he got knocked out.
Tell us what's new on the front of the NC2A. I know that this no. This portal is something that has really taken off, and players can freely transfer to schools or institutions that they want to right now, and without actually sitting out. Is that true? Can you kind of break that down for us with the transfer portal?
Okay.
Does that hurt the game?
Well,
Because, you don't know who's who, where they're going to be next year. Does that hurt the game?
Well, okay, that's a great question. So I'm going to answer them two ways. First of all, as a fan, it makes me sad because, look, Pierre Brooks just left Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be good. Mm-hmm. He just didn't play as good as we wanted him to do this year, but he said, heck, I'm done. I can't play here at Izzo because Izzo just ride me too much. Okay, so on one hand, as a fan, I can feel people's frustration. But on the other hand, as a person who's been covering and watching this stuff almost 40 years, I am elated. After sitting and being a part of John Thompson and the Black Coaches Association all those years, and we were fighting for what's happening now, for some freedom as a human being. The coaches have always had freedom. These suckers come in there, sit down, look at Mama Butler or Daddy Lowe, and go, I'm going to take care of your son or daughter. Don't worry. I got them. They mine. Then the next year, some bitch to get another job and it's gone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the players stuck at the school.
Yeah.
Now, if they wanted to leave, they had to sit out a year. Now, you give me the equity in that.
Yep. Good point.
So, in looking at life, if we're supposed to be America and freedom and all that stuff, then why can't athletes have freedom to move? Mm-hmm. And if they make the wrong move, they make it. A lot of times go to schools and then they don't make it there anyway because the coaches leave, and they got to stay. If I went to a job and it wasn't fitting me, I could leave that bad boy if I want to and try to go get another one.
Yeah,
right.
So the athletes were the only people in America that was restricted their movement and their potential to grow as human beings because of money. First of all, it was just easier for the powers that be and the NCAA and the coaches and everybody. We get the guys, we got them, who cares? They're just a bunch of brothers. Nobody gives a darn about all that. And they didn't care about their well-being at all. None of this is in place for them.
As long as we win.
To make them better. That's all.
Yeah.
And as long as I can leave and make money and do anything I want. Coaches, athletic directors, all can leave. They recruited these kids, assistant coaches, and then the kids got to stay at the school. Or if a kid go to a decision you make at 18, and some making a decision at 17, shouldn't be a life-minded decision of your next 4 years of your life when that's the formative years when you're growing from 18 to 22.
Right.
Okay.
You are supposed to explore and make mistakes and find out what's best for you. At 18, you make a decision. But I made a decision at 22 to major in engineering because I just was poor when I grew up and I wanted to make some money.
Yeah.
And it really worked good for me, but I felt like I was getting ready to explode after about 10 years. And I met Brad Pye and I went into journalism and sports where my passion was. But it took me 10 years to do. I lost 10 years. And because of losing 10 years, I had to backdoor my way. I had to do it but it all worked out in God's vision because it was the way I was supposed to do it, I guess. But that meant I had to work 2 jobs, be an engineer or teach.
Okay, but now you were saying that if an athlete wanted to get out, he would be faced with some consequences like sitting out. I mean, is that the only consequence, or are there other issues?
Yeah, that was
the only consequence. But he could leave. He could leave the next year if he wanted to.
He could leave.
Yeah.
Sitting out was like a death sentence.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Say you freaking 18, and you think you played, then you gonna sit out at 20?
Yeah.
It would sit around and twiddle your thumbs, and you ain't in no program.
Right.
And you ain't practicing right.
And then the crazy thing about that, the institution that you might be going to, because you're going there because of that coach and those coaches.
Right.
What if they leave?
Well, that's what has been happening. But
right.
see, this is how the NCAA counted it. Well, you ain't going because of coaches. You're going because of the education. No, it's because of coaches. It's because Israel set his monkey butt down in front of you. It's because Krzyzewski got in front of your mom and dad, or the kids. Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, made promises that they say they're gonna keep, and then decide they couldn't.
Right.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
They're leaving a hot second, man. If you got a better job, you ain't got to stay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who's in the Final Four now? And who do you think is going to advance?
Okay. The two is UConn is going to be battling Monday against San Diego State.
Mm-hmm.
Now, San Diego State is one of the interesting cases in recent years, and I didn't really know it because, like, again, I said I kind of checked out after Spies lost. It broke my heart because I really thought they were going to come around.
But you're a journalist.
But I
He can still be biased. What? Hey.
No, he said he kind of checked out. What do you mean?
Well, he's a Michigander, man.
He's a journalist.
So,
but in my own way, I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Still a fan.
Okay, yeah, right. But you're a journalist.
So go ahead, Stein.
Well, I knew I was going to go cover the game, and I was going to study and learn what I needed to learn to cover the game. It didn't matter who was going to be here.
Yeah.
So, I didn't care. Whoever's here, that's who I'm going to go cover.
Right.
So I didn't know nothing about San Diego State. But what I'm saying, they're unique. They coach Brian Dutcher as Jim Dutcher's son. Jim Dutcher coached at Eastern Michigan. He was George Gervin's coach.
Mm.
Yeah, then he went up to Minnesota and did pretty good. And then his son got the job as Fisher's assistant at the University of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful story. He recruited the Fab Five.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he won a championship. We talking about San Diego State's coach. Now, listen to this history on this guy. At Michigan in 1989, him and Fisher were the coaches. He was Fisher's lead assistant.
Right.
When they won the national title with that year.
Okay, but who you think is going to go between the four? Who's going to make it to advance?
Well, we already determined that.
Oh, it's already determined.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's UConn and San. We're talking about. First of all, I'm talking about San Diego State right now.
Didn't I? Yeah. You have to.
San Diego State.
Mr. Butler does not have cable.
I do have cable. I just don't have ESPN.
Okay. Well, he doesn't have the internet. Well,
I got the
internet too. Oh,
I was like Stein. I kind of checked out. I hadn't been keeping up with what's going on.
You didn't just check out. You checked out.
Okay, so Stein, who do you see
San Diego State? This is important.
Go ahead.
So San Diego State, man. Fisher went to San Diego State.
Yes.
He left Michigan and went to San Diego State and put together a great run. He retired, and when he went to San, he took Brian Dutcher with him.
Right.
He's been assistant coach for about 10 years at San Diego State while Fisher was there. When Fisher retired in 2017, Dutcher took the job. Now, here's a stat that I didn't know because I didn't keep up San Diego State. Over the last 10 years, California has 25 Division I schools. San Diego State has the best record of any school in California. Has went to the most NCAA tournaments.
Now you said that's
of
important.
Any California school.
You said
because
important.
they've been building
UCLA, USC. He's outnumbered them all.
Okay, but why is that important? You said that's important. Tell us why that's important.
Because they have been, when they got Kawhi Leonard in 2009, came there. The program's been on upswing ever since, and they've been there. Mm-hmm. They've been to the Elite Eight a couple times. They've been to the NCAA tournament at least 8 times. So they've been building quietly for those of us that wasn't watching them, like me. Mm-hmm. I wasn't watching them that closely. Mm-hmm. They've been consistently building a solid program, which they turned into probably the best program in California based on the records. Mm-hmm. So it really shouldn't be no surprise that they are where they are. Now, they've been helped mightily by the transfer portal because they got 3 of their players, the stars, coming out of the portal. One of the boys from my area where I used to cover when I was up there was called the Inland Empire. One of them is from, oh, Lord, where that boy from? He's from Moreno Valley. Butler, who made the shot.
Oh, made the game winner.
Those are my schools. Yeah, number 5.
Okay. That's the school Cheryl Miller and her brother went to.
Yeah, but he was a portal transfer. The leading scorer, Lamont. Huh?
He said Cheryl Miller and her brother. Her brother?
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't go to Mill. They went to Riverside, Martin Luther King. That's where Kawhi Leonard went.
Oh, right. Kawhi Leonard. That's what I meant. I'm sorry. I misspoke. Go ahead, Stein. Finish up.
Kawhi. No. Kawhi went to Riverside King, and And so it's three of their players. Matt Bradley is from San Bernardino. So Riverside and San Bernardino are twin cities, you know. And he was a portal. So three of their top players are portal, came out of the portal. So it's worked extremely well for him, as you can see. Mm-hmm. Even Michael Parrish is, you know, one of the star players from Detroit, the 6'6" kid from River Rouge. He is at the portal out of Oakland. So the portal, I know it drives the fans crazy. Because I know when I saw Butler leaving Michigan, I was like, oh, no, here we go. You know, but it ain't about me. It ain't about us. It's about these kids having an opportunity to make some of their own decisions, to make some of their own choices, good or bad, and let them go with it. You should not be beholden and held to decisions made at 18. At 18, you don't even know nothing. You don't know enough of the world at 18 to make a decision that should bind you, literally bind you to a school.
Well, let's say specific decisions, because some decisions like murder and rape and all that, you know, right. I think you should be held accountable for that kind of stuff. But decisions like you're talking about, deciding that you went to one school and it was the wrong school.
They make held accountable. Why should that be held accountable?
Say that again.
What?
Say the President of the United States wasn't held accountable.
Well, he is now.
Well, no, I believe it when I see it. And
yeah, me too. Me too.
Come on. You know it don't, man. They done got Trump on so much mess and he weasels out of it every single time.
Yeah, well, hopefully he won't this time. But we'll see.
He's a slippery wet noodle. Yeah. Teflon man.
We'll see, like you said. I'll believe. I'm like you. I'll believe it when I see it.
A slippery white noodle?
Wait a minute, man. I like spaghetti. Chill out. You know, I messed up my spaghetti now.
Dang.
And my lasagna.
Dang. That's man.
Slippery white noodles.
It's pretty funny. They was telling this story about this some person had never ate spaghetti and they came from another country and did that stuff. And when they looked at the plate, they said, man, that's a bunch of bloody worms. I ain't eating that stuff. So I guess everything is in the perception of what the beholder is speaking.
It's all relative, yeah. So look, we were talking earlier about off air about the women basketball, college basketball, and the popularity increasing against the men's. And you had an interesting perspective. Tell us about that, because the girls aren't getting, even though their game is increasing in popularity, right, and attendance and so forth like that. And the girls, man, they're really good players.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Those girls ball out. I give it to them. And the men's game, ironically, tends to be, as Bomani Jones was saying on his show, tends to be going down a little bit. But the women are still not getting
just needs
fair.
To talk sometimes.
Yeah, well, he's crazy.
So much talk radio, you just got to. I like Bomani. He's on point, but everybody just say stuff. When you don't
he has statistics.
You just make up some stuff.
He has some stats. And he has some people on there who.
Men's game. Just be quiet.
No, but he has stats.
You don't have to knock one to build up the other.
No, he wasn't knocking it.
Men's game
he wasn't knocking it. He was just saying that in comparison,
right.
The women's game is increasing in popularity and attendance, where the men's is kind of going down. He wasn't saying the men's game was bad. He was just saying that according to the way things are going statistically, with the increase, why aren't the women getting as much financial and aid and stuff like that as the men?
Well, you got to look at the historical component of American history and white brothers and sisters in this country. With the way they degraded women, minorities, white men degraded women. I mean, this went on for 400 years. So, I mean, we've been able to write about it and talk about it nowadays, but back then they controlled the media and everything completely. But that's part of the woman's problem. These men who were the gatekeepers at the papers throughout America, we call the gatekeepers the editors. The editors decide what goes on the front page, the second page, what gets a little print and what gets a big print. That's what editors' jobs are. Now, for some reason, the editors in America would not give women's sports 2 farts. They just won't give them. They won't sign no reporters to them. They don't give them no space. They minimize the importance of the WNBA game by not really writing about it a lot as much as they should.
They're giving it airtime.
Yeah, airtime. Now, they've done it this year. WNBA has got some really nice airtime this year. They've done much as good as I've seen them do. But to me, that's been a major problem. It's just been our media throughout America just minimize women's sports so long. They have an uphill battle to get beyond that ceiling of media. But see, with the inclusion of the internet and the ability to people to, there's more information out there now. And not only that, cable. Cable is what you got? Hulu, Bulu, Sulu, Mulu, about 20.
All the losers.
Everybody got stuff. Netflix, Unflix, Rightflix. It's amazing.
Hey, that's all I watch.
But this is the time to be a filmmaker because now it ain't just Columbia, Metro, Goldwyn Mayer. Oh no.
Yeah.
You know, hey man, they doing. I've seen some of the most profound documentaries I've ever seen on Prime and Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know that, but it never came on ABC, NBC. Well, never, and it didn't, even HBO and them have been pretty good, but they couldn't do it all. They just couldn't because they was trying to do content too. They just couldn't do documentaries. But all these addendums that's been hit the scene has increased content and up the game for documentaries. You know, and the opportunity to tell real truths about American history and American life. And so with this all happening, the women's game is into that vacuum, and they're starting to, I don't need the Detroit Free Press and News to talk about women's sports. I find it on my own, and I can get it, and it's right in my face.
That's a good point.
And so I think that's kind of helped them tremendously. I've always loved the women's game. I covered the first WNBA game at the Los Angeles Forum, Los Angeles Sparks. They had this great team with Lisa Leslie and all them. Yeah. You know, but they couldn't be Houston. Cynthia Cooper.
Cheryl Swoops.
Swoops and Cooper, man. But yeah, because they used to come and play, man, we couldn't beat them. We just couldn't beat them. And then when I got back to Detroit, my time with women's basketball was elevated because we had the best team in the WNBA. They won two or three championships.
Yeah.
Two. And one of my favorite championships of all time was at Joe Louis. But look what had to happen. The Shock made it to the championship game. They was playing at the Palace. The Palace booked something.
And
they didn't project with it. They had to move to Joe Louis. They dropped 19,000 in there. That's the WNBA record for a championship game. They put 19,000. They got all them kids in Detroit, all the women show. It was a spectacular one. They won that game. Yeah, it was really beautiful. But
Swing
I've
Cash.
always loved the women's game.
Swing
Cash,
yeah.
Cheryl Ford, Ruth Riley, and the girl I love, Gianna Nolan.
Uh-oh.
Oh, God.
Your voice kind of changed when you said it.
I said, boy, you married. I said, I ain't trying to do that. I'm just sorry. I can't get it. It's hard.
So you think that kind of exposure has helped the women's college game and all? But what can be done to get them on the level of financial, the financial steps that the men's game is?
They ain't going to do it. Not right away. It ain't going to happen now. Because, men, first of all, we can love the game all we want, and they're spectacular, but they ain't the men. When it comes to physical things, God made men bigger and stronger. That's just it. I'm sorry. So you're going to have these men flying and doing things that the girls just can't do.
That's true. Right.
But I appreciate basketball, though. Yeah. And I love it. And if you do, you should go to
but you're a true fan,
and
too.
Enjoy some basketball. Yeah, I am a fan. I'm a fan of women's sports.
So,
always
overall.
been a fan of women's sports. Yeah. Yes. But I'm just being honest. I can't see them getting the same kind of TV deals that the men are getting. Not right away. I mean, we hope.
Well, commercialization also. Selling ads for a women's game compared to selling ads for LeBron James and Los Angeles Lakers game.
Exactly.
It's really not going to. The eyeballs are not going to be there.
It's not going to transcend like Stein said.
Right.
Not at least not for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
No, not for a while. But I don't need them to get to where the men is. They were so below the men just get to 1/3 of where the men, it's like 100% increase from where they were 15, 20 years ago. I'm sorry, it's the truth.
Well, that's what Bomani, what's Bomani, that's what he's saying.
That's
right?
what he's talking about, yeah.
Well, it didn't hurt that this year it was probably two of the most compelling teams in NCAA women's history with South Carolina and Iowa battling. I mean, of course the white folk were happy, man. But I ain't one of them guys, the white girl. No, come on, man.
That girl can shoot.
Basketball has no boundaries.
Yeah.
Coach John McLendon, the legendary Hall of Fame coach, told me years ago, he said basketball is going to be an international sport because it doesn't need as much as some of these other American sports to be played. It just needs the same kind of facilities and areas. So it has happened just like that. Basketball is a true international sport. And the women have had to leave America and play internationally, and they make money, man. They make $500,000 or more to play there. That's what Brittany was making in Russia.
Yeah.
Hey, so
Leland,
the money is there. It just ain't here in the U.S. yet.
Right. Hey, Leland, thanks, man, for being our reporter on location.
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
It was fun talking to you.
Jeff, sit down. Tell Butler to go to ESPN and look and see who the finalists are.
Okay, look, man, we cutting you off, man.
He has to get plugged in first.
Okay, yeah, we cutting you. We cutting Stein. Stein, thanks a lot, man. We're running out of time. America, thanks for listening. Stein, take it easy. Enjoy the rest of the tournament. And we are out of here, y'all.
And you have been listening to the Hook.
I grew up in Detroit. She's my home. Some people left when things got tough, but not me. I knew she'd make it back. Like Detroit, I'm strong, resilient, hardworking, and loyal. Detroit has been true to me. I will be true to Detroit.
To get your True Detroiter gear, go to true-detroiter.creator-spring.com. Get yours today.
Make any occasion a celebration to remember with Yard Card Memories. Birthdays, graduations, homegoings, anniversaries, and more. Yard Card Memories is a creative and artistic greeting and messaging company with a focus on making memories for any occasion with the installation of yard card rentals that we create and display on your yard. Make your occasion a celebration to remember with Yard Card Memories. To book your Yard Card Memories rental, call 313-246-2927. That's 313-246-2927. Make sure you book early. We recommend 2 weeks in advance. Hey, you've been thinking about doing a podcast but don't have the equipment or know where to go?
Call YMP, your mobile podcast. We will come to you.
You can do your podcast without worry of equipment or travel.
For more information, contact 313-241-0017. That's 313-241-0017.
YMP.
Your mobile podcast.
Hey everybody, I'm Keith Butler.
And I'm Jeff Lowe. I want you to check out The Hook on Apple, Google, or Spotify podcasts.
And if you have any questions or comments, you can hit us up at our emails. Mine is KEBU10, that's the number 10, at yahoo.com.
And mine is jlow1215 at gmail.com.